Shavasana. So let's just lay down with our head facing the front of the room. We'll just take a couple of breaths as you arrive. Just becoming aware of the space around you, the floor beneath you, noticing the temperature of the air in the room on your skin. Beginning to slowly draw your awareness inward. Notice any areas that you might be feeling any tension or tightness, any sensations at all, just meeting them with compassion and non-judgment. We're just noticing how we are arriving in our practice today, how we're showing up on our mat. This week, we begin our month-long theme of cultivating gratitude. I wanted to bring this forward because it is a very common theme this time of year. In November, we are celebrating our harvest, gratitude for harvest, and for family as we witness the changing of the seasons and coming together to celebrate during this time of year. I also wanted to bring in an element of equanimity through this. Gratitude and equanimity complement one another. They create a balanced mindset that supports us through peace and resilience. Equanimity is our ability to stay calm and centered regardless of what our circumstances are. This goes well with yin too, because it's a practice of surrender. Gratitude is a practice of focusing on the good or even challenging moments and being able to find gratitude and appreciation for the experience of them. So I invite you to set an intention for your practice today, maybe even to just bring forward the idea of gratitude or equanimity and something you're grateful for, maybe person, situation, anything in your life that you're grateful for, and to dedicate your practice to that intention today. And when you're ready, we'll just walk the feet in towards the hips. And just begin some windshield wiper movement with the knees back and forth. Gently beginning to awaken the body a little. Begin to feel into the corners of our body. And we'll draw both knees in towards the chest. You can grab on wherever you like, the back of the thighs or around the knees, the shins. We'll just give them a little squeeze and a little rock. rock side to side. And releasing. We'll just let the legs come out long again. We'll start with a banana pose or banana asana, crescent asana. We'll walk the feet over to the right corner of the mat, crossing the left ankle over the right. Bringing the shoulders to the top right corner, and we can cactus the arms out here to our sides or bring them up overhead. We want to make sure that our shoulders are in contact with our mat, and we're anchoring that left hip down. So just find a position for the arms and for the ankles that works for you. And we're breathing into the left side body, opening up through the rib cage, feeling the breath and our awareness travel from our ankles or the soles of our feet along the left side of the body, all the way to the crown of the head. And as we breathe, thinking about creating space here in this area from the left hip to the rib cage and even up into the underarm. Just feeling into all of the spaces between the ribs, all of our intercostal muscles, the side of our belly, and our hip. Uncross the ankles and bring the arms down to your sides, walking the feet and the shoulders back through center. We can bring the knees in again, just resetting here, a little squeeze, a little rock for lower back, and then moving to the opposite side. Extending the legs out long, walk the ankles to the left corner of the mat, cross the right ankle over the left, and bring the shoulders over to the top left corner, finding where you'd like your arms to be here so that you can feel those points of contact with your mat. Both shoulders, the back of the head, sinking that right hip down towards the earth and the heels. And as we breathe here, feeling into those same spaces on the right side, following that line of energy from the soles of the feet to the hip, rib cage, underarm, and the crown of your head. As you breathe here, maybe just draw awareness to our breath. It's something that we often don't put a lot of thought into, and it's something to be grateful for. The breath that we take that we don't have to think about most of the time. So just drawing awareness to our breath and noticing how it is settled in our body, what our natural flow of breath is here. If it's quick, let it be quick. If it's slow, let it be slow. And just become aware. Just notice. Spend some time here. Uncrossing the legs and coming back through center, maybe just taking a big stretch here, reaching the fingers, the arms up overhead, and stretching through the toes or the soles of the feet, lengthening the spine as we inhale and take a cleansing breath in through the nose. Exhale, let go of everything and make your way to your belly on the mat. So rolling over, or whatever way is intuitive to you, and we'll meet in Sphinx pose. So we'll bring the legs out long and our elbows stacked under the shoulders, forearms pressed into the mat. If we have any lower back sensitivity, you can bring your arms out to the edges of the mat, or at any time, feel free to just come all the way down and rest your forehead. Here we are drawing the shoulder blades together as we press our forearms into the earth and rise from our mat, opening the heart center forward. Gaze can come between the hands, gently forward in front of you, softening your gaze, or you can close your eyes. You can also let your head hang heavy here, if that feels good to the back of your neck. Just choosing an option in any of these suggestions for poses that feels good to your body today, wherever you are. Use your props as needed. There's no shame in the prop game. And here, as we breathe into the heart center and our bellies pressed into the mat, just thinking about connecting with the heart space, maybe even coming back to that intention. What are we grateful for? Maybe there's something else that we'd like to express our gratitude for during your practice. If you'd like to bring your hands out towards the top of the mat, pressing into the palms to deepen this, coming into seal, you can do so. Even if it's just for a breath and we get there and decide it's not for us, that's okay. And exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Bringing your forearms in front and just crossing them and resting your forehead for about 3 breaths here. Draw the hands under the shoulders, press back and find tabletop. We'll bring our blanket to our mat if you want any cushion for your knees. I think it's nice, even if you think you don't need it, to have a little more support. So we'll bring our hands, our wrists stacked under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and tops of our feet pressed into the mat. Finding tabletop in a neutral position, our crown is reaching towards the front of the room, and our tailbone reaching towards the back. On the inhale, drop the belly, tailbone rises, and our gaze comes forward. Exhale, press into the mat through the palms of the hands, rounding the spine, tuck the tailbone, gaze towards the navel. Inhale, coming into cow, dropping the belly, heart center forward as the shoulder blades come together, tailbone rises. Exhale, round the spine, press through the hands and create some space in the back side of the heart center. Begin to move through these at your own pace with your breath, just following that inhale and exhale. See if you can slow it down and be really intentional, even just by 2%. 2% slower. Just drawing our awareness back into our bodies, into those corners of our bodies again. Feeling into any of the sensations, any of the tightness that you may have felt, or tension that may be in the shoulders or in the hips. Just see if you can invite those spaces to soften as you move through these cat-cows. You can move through the hips, creating circles, or isolate the rib cage. Just take some movement here that feels nourishing to the body. Coming back through the center, we'll move into a wide-legged child's pose, Balasana. Bring the big toes together and walk the knees towards the edges of the mat. Walk the hands back, sinking the hips down first towards the heels, and then lengthening through the torso, through the rib cage, and walking the hands out. Bring the chest towards the mat or onto a bolster if you'd like to have a little more support there. Bringing the forehead to the mat. If your hips are not sinking down, that comes in time, and we're just honoring our bodies where they are. The bolster does provide some support, and we can also just allow gravity to draw our hips towards the earth. If you feel that this is a little too intense, you can walk the knees in a little, providing some more support as well. Here, opening our hearts to the earth beneath us, offering our breath and this space of gratitude for the support and nourishment that the earth provides. Bring the gaze towards the hands and walk the hands back towards the body. Bringing the head up flat. Pausing at the top here, just taking a couple of breaths. We'll bring the knees together and tuck the toes for a toe squat, but we can keep the hands on the mat. There is an option if you'd like to walk the hands all the way back and come to an upright position, but having the hand on the mat or hands on the mat, we can have a little more control over how intense that stretch is. So we're just tucking the toes and stretching through the soles of the feet here. We won't be here too long, just about a minute. If you need to untuck the toes at any time, you untuck the toes, leaning forward, and just tap the feet out on the mat. Then coming back through tabletop, we'll move into pigeon on the right side. Draw the right knee towards the right wrist. You can open that hip up by bringing the right ankle forward, and you can place a block underneath your hip for support here. And bring your bolster to the front of the mat. You can also bring your forearms down all the way to the mat if you'd like to, but you don't have to. You can also stay in an upright position here too. If you're at home, you can stick a blanket or a pillow under the hip and use anything that you have to support you, just to hold you in this space in a comfortable position where you can find your edge and really surrender into stillness here. If you're up on a support with your hip, we're just kind of checking in with our hips here. So see if there's a tendency to lean to one side. We want to try to square our hips and have them nice and even here so we're not sinking down into that left hip space. We're just finding a nice stable position. As we're breathing into the release in our right hip, in our glute, and into maybe even some sensation in the front side of our left hip, in our hip flexor area. That can be kind of a place of soreness sometimes, especially if we're sitting for long periods throughout the day. Can become tight, bound up. So just inviting those places to release any tension. Just soften a little. Walk the hands back and release. Prop to the side. Take any pose that feels good here, maybe a child's pose with the knees together, letting our chest come on top of the knees and our head hang heavy. And when you're ready, moving into the opposite side. From tabletop, left knee towards the left wrist and swinging that left ankle forward, placing a block under the hip, making any adjustments that you need here. You don't have to have your left shin parallel to the top of the mat, just let it be wherever it is. It's okay. Checking in with our hips, using any props that we'd like to use. And maybe just noticing here if this side feels a little different than the other side. There's a different sensation, more, less. Not really assigning a story to it, just finding the space to notice, to be aware, without judgment. Walk the hands back, release the props. We'll just come to a seated position, with our legs crossed, an easy seated pose, Sukhasana. Finding some length in our spine here. So we need to drop our shoulders down away from the ears. Close the eyes if it feels safe to do so. Become aware of your seat, base of your spine, in contact with the earth. Your sit bones, your hips. All the points of contact with the earth beneath you. And just taking this moment to ground. Check in with our breath. let it flow evenly here. Without any control, just a natural flow of the breath. On your next inhale, think about lengthening the spine, the crown of the head, and raising the arms on the inhale. Inhale, reaching, lengthening the spine. Exhale, we'll bring the left hand to the right knee, and the right hand can plant on the mat or on a block if you'd like. And we'll just bring our gaze towards our right shoulder. It doesn't have to be towards the back of the room. Just a gentle twist here. Lengthening on the inhale, and on the exhale, just drawing the navel in, seeing if you can deepen just a little bit more. Thinking about this as a time to release, to let go, and create space. So this changing of the season, this time where we are grateful for our harvest, for our family, it's also a time of letting go of the things we don't need, like old leaves falling during this time, the crunchy earth energies, crunchy things that aren't really serving our greatest good, that aren't serving in this chapter, so that we can make room for growth and for a new harvest. Let the exhale bring you back through center, slowly unwinding. We'll just walk the hands out a little in front of us and let the head hang heavy here. Rounding the spine, just surrendering here. And inhale, walk the hands back. Let's uncross our legs and cross them the other direction. Coming into that side twist on the opposite side. Inhale, reaching the arms up, fingertips reaching, spine lengthening. Exhale, right hand to the left knee, left hand to the earth or to a block. And our gaze comes over our left shoulder. Each inhale, lengthening the spine, and exhale, even just with our mind. It doesn't have to be a physical movement. Thinking about deepening our awareness in our body towards our center, towards our navel. Just noticing if there's anything there, anything we'd like to let go of. With the exhale, bring you back to your center. You can walk the hands out against once more, letting the spine round, head hanging heavy. And walking back on the inhale, we'll come to lay on our back on the mat. And knees bent, feet hip distance apart. Let's just take another little windshield wiper motion here with the knees back and forth. Just giving a little love to our hips. We've had a little bit of action today, so giving them a little nourishment. Grateful for our hips to support us in life, support us in our practice. And coming back through center, bring the soles of the feet together, letting the knees fall open to the sides for Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly. We can bring our blocks underneath our thighs here for support, or you can just let gravity draw the knees towards the floor, totally up to you. Hands can be at your sides or rest on the rib cage or the inside of the thighs if that is comfortable. Breathing into our bellies and our heart space here. Let the breath soften the belly. Each inhale, creating space here. See if you can feel the expansion of all of the tiny muscles in the chest and in the belly. We can feel into our diaphragm and our rib cage. Noticing how we're supported here, the points of contact with our mat, being held here while we explore the breath once more. Notice if it feels different to breathe here than when you began your practice. Just drawing awareness to the space that you have created within. You can stay here if you'd like, or if you'd like to come into Shavasana, a comfortable variation of Shavasana for you. You can have the knees bent or bring the legs out long. Let the feet fall open and take up some space on your mat. Take a cleansing breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Again, in through the nose. Gentle pause and exhale, release. Just let the breath flow naturally, letting go of any control of the breath. Just allow your body to rest here and to integrate, to receive all of the work that you've done today. Letting go of any judgments or worries about anything that did or didn't happen as expected during your practice. Give yourself permission to rest. And to deepen the breathing and create some movement in the fingers and toes. Slowly awakening the body. Taking your time here. Taking any postures, maybe a stretch or hugging the knees in again before coming to a seated position as we close today's practice. And bring the hands to the heart space. You can place the hands over the heart or come into prayer pose, whichever feels good to you. Just drawing our awareness back to our intention if you set one at the beginning of practice today. And if you lost it along the way, that's okay too. Taking a moment of gratitude here as we close our practice. Grateful for our breath, our bodies that can move in any way during our practice, and for people to practice with. Thanks for being here, friends. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.